What is up, damas and caballeros? And today, that's just weird. Dames and cowboys. I think that's the direct translation. What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to talk to you about Warhammer 40k once again. So today, I will be going over, as you can see from the thumbnail and the title of the video, the one legion that I believe has a really good chance of doing really well in 9th edition for the Heretic Astartes, the Chaos Space Marines. So I've been playing Chaos Space Marines for quite a long time now. They are the Chaos half of my fan legion, the Celestial Sons. They are the Infernal Sons, and I've been playing them usually either Word Bearers, because they're really good at just tearing things up in close combat. The freaking Berserkers as troops is, I can't see it, but I'm doing that little like bellissimo, like the French kiss and the fingers, and you know the pose. If I remember, edit it in so you guys can see it. But anyway, I've been playing them as not word bearers, world eaters. I don't know if I corrected myself the first time, but yeah, world eaters are really good. And I also played them thematically as the freaking Iron Warriors. The Iron Warriors are probably going to do really good in this edition because Iron Warriors, they're really good at targeting vehicles. And vehicles got hugely better in 9th edition. They can shoot into combat, or they can shoot while they're in combat. Not just that, but they ignore the penalties for firing heavy weapons while moving, and they're beasts. They are really good this edition. So I'm gonna be predicting that a lot more lists are gonna be very vehicle heavy, a lot more dreadnoughts. The Relic Contemptor Dreadnought is looking to be a really good take for the Space Marines. I'd say if not, it's an auto take. Like, go and check out Auspex's channel. He's just been banging out video after video after video, and he was saying that the Relic Contemptor Dreadnought is really good, so highly recommend that channel if you guys are into tactics and news for 40k. And yeah, it's just, this is all about vehicles. And if you're playing Chaos Space Marines, try out the Iron Warriors, because I'm going to go over all their traits and abilities that are going to really push you towards using them in this edition. So first of all, if you're playing Iron Warriors, you get their Legion trait right off the board, and that is Siege Lords. You basically can reroll failed wounds against buildings. That's pretty much never going to come up, but the other thing is the important stuff. That is that enemy units don't get their bonus when being in cover, while an Iron Warrior unit is firing at them. That's really big, because cover and terrain got revamped, and there's new rules and dense cover and all this stuff. So now, if you're a freaking Iron Warrior firing at something in cover, they don't get any benefit to their cover save. Now, for the most part, the whole thing with cover and saves and the rule of +1, -1, it's not as crazy anymore, where you can have things in cover all the way get like a 2-up save. Seeing that, you probably won't see it too often, but still, mitigating any negatives to your army is always going to be a huge benefit. So Siege Lords, it's a pretty good trait to get right off the bat. Moving on to the traits that your Warlord can get, there's a pretty interesting ones that are really great. There's some other ones that you can just completely ignore, because I mean, there's some bad ones in here. First and foremost, you really want to be giving the Demon Smith ability to your units, because any model that's within 6 inches of your Warlord gets an additional hit on 6s, and that stacks on top of your already benefit that you're getting against Imperium armies. So as we all know, Primaris Marines are going to be rampant throughout this edition. They really are, GW's been buffing Primaris Marines in general, just crazy amounts of like stat boosts, and overall it's like you really can tell who GW's baby is. So, because you're pretty sure you're going to be facing Imperial armies, Primaris Space Marines most of the time, Demon Smith is just going to be giving you attack after attack after attack in close combat, or just shooting. 'Cause it doesn't. I don't think it states if it has to be in combat or not. Yeah, just any attack made by a model within 6 inches of the Warlord. That's a Demon Engine or a Cult of Destruction. So, make your Demon Smith Warlord come in via Deep Strike with some Obliterators, and you will be doing damage. Especially if you get a really, really good roll with your Obliterators, then they'll be crying home. If you give everybody the Markings of the Nesh, I believe Endless Cacophony can be used, and just to shoot again, yeah, it's devastating. The next one that you really don't want to forget about is Siege Master. You can allow anybody that's a Havoc or a vehicle within 6 inches of your Warlord to reroll 1s for wounding. This is huge because usually your Havocs are going to be wanting to target vehicles or monstrous creatures, so being able to reliably deal more damage is going to be great. Vehicles against vehicles, that's going to be seen a lot because, of course, everybody's going to want to run a few vehicles in the list, seeing how powerful they are. Especially those Forge World Leviathans, and those things are going to be littering the floor. So, allowing these things to like sit back and just shoot, it might be better just to get a Chaos Lord, cheap one, and just stick them in the back behind some really great firing batteries, and then just keep pumping out shot after shot. The aura of the Chaos Lord's already going to be helping them hit, and then this is going to helping them wound. So it's a really great strategy to kind of keep back and fire and hit things and deal damage reliably. Now the stratagems, it's where things really shine. Methodical Annihilation is really good because it allows you to either reroll damage rolls, reroll any or all of the dice, determining your characteristic of your weapon. So basically the number of shots you're shooting. Las cannons is going to be what you're going to be wanting to use this with. Target that vehicle. Once you've hit and rolled for damage, Methodical Annihilation is where it's at. Reroll that damage, because with 9th edition new rules, that can't be re-rolled. So say you hit with your last cannon and you roll 1 damage. Then you're kind of stuck with it. Not anymore. For a single CP, you can re-roll your shot to try and do more work. Unholy Vigor can really shine. For example, let's say you're bringing some Forge Fiends, and they're in the thick of it, and they're down to like their bracketed self, and they're not doing as much damage. Go ahead and do the Unholy Vigor for 1 CP, and at the start of your movement phase, you automatically get back 3 wounds. No need to roll anything. It's not like a Warpsmith is there. They just heal 3 wounds, and that might be enough to bump you up to another bracket so you can start doing more damage, having more movement, and overall just doing better. It's also really funny to think that your opponent's finally, you're down to your last wound. Maybe he's got you in close combat with like a few Necron warriors, and it's like, okay, you think he's gonna go down, but no, you come in with the Unholy Vigor, buff him up, and then he's able to survive another round. So that's kind of another like haha moment. Definitely do not forget about Unholy Vigor, something to kind of keep in your back pocket. This next one is the Holy Grail. It is called, funnily enough, Tank Hunters. So you use this for a single command point, and you use it either in the shooting or fight phase when you're targeting a vehicle. Till the end of that phase, you're re-rolling wound rolls against that vehicle. Really, really great when you have that enemy vehicle that you really need to destroy. There's a juicy Land Raider full of Terminators running up the middle of the board. Stop that Land Raider ASAP. Use this, hit him with your last cannons, blow it up. It's just great. Again, Unholy Vigor can, also work well with tank hunters. Soften them up with the tank hunter's ability. Use the Methodical Annihilation to just re-roll that damage, and then once it's cracked open, charge with your own vehicles. There's a lot of synergy here. That one strategy I mentioned earlier, speaking of synergy, with your Lord coming in with the Obliterators and just doing work, Rampant Technovirus for one command point allows you to re-roll those D3s for your Obliterators to make sure they do more damage. Because it always sucks to come in with some Obliterators and you just roll really crappy and they're just lackluster. Well, not anymore. Now for a single command point you can re-roll those D3 rolls to make their flash metal weapons a little bit stronger, a little bit better, and overall make them worth their points. Because Obliterators, they're not cheap. And finishing off with my favorite section for the Iron Warriors is their Relics. Their Relics are pretty good, but I just love the lore behind them. Like, it's just the flesh metal exoskeleton is my favorite relic anywhere in all of 40k. Just the idea of having this metal exoskeleton boosting yourself up. It's almost like an Iron Man armor, or like just an awesome ability to just, I don't know. I like running it on my winged demon princes, and just the whole image of having like a metallic monstrosity coming flying towards your lines. That's demoralizing. But yeah, flesh metal exoskeleton. It gives you a 2-up save and it allows you to regain 1 wound at the start of every turn. This is going to keep you in battle longer. So again, if you give it to a demon prince, he's going to be charging into close combat. Once he's in close combat, or if he's getting shot at, he can mitigate a little bit of that damage because his 3-up save becomes a 2-up. And like I said, each turn he's regaining a wound, which is a theme for your vehicles, because Chaos's vehicles usually allow you to regain a wound at the beginning of your turn. And it's hilarious if you put it on a Lord Discordant, because even though the 2-up save doesn't change, because it still remains a 2-up save, he does get to heal 2 wounds per turn, because they already heal 1, and this is adding another wound. It's a little funny, a little redundant, but it's a way of, keeping them alive a little bit longer. But just the lore of it, the idea of the flesh metal exoskeleton, I just love it. The Cranium Malevolence is a relic that you can forgo your shooting to activate it. And if you do, you then roll a d6 for each enemy vehicle within 9 inches of whoever has the relic. On a 4 to 5, you're dealing d3 mortal wounds. 6 is dealing a straight up 3 mortal wound. So this is what I mean when Iron Warriors really hate vehicles. Plop this on like a winged demon prince, run up the board, give yourself warp time to move again, and just plop yourself in the middle of a bunch of tanks, like a tank line or something like that. Don't shoot, because you want to be popping this thing out, because it's a pretty good chance that you're going to be doing a lot of mortal wounds, and anything that looks vulnerable, you should be close enough to charge in there and hopefully destroy it, because you're a demon prince. My second favorite relic in all of 40k is also from the Iron Warriors, and it is Insidium. Just think about it. This relic makes you a demon. It gives you the demon keyword, and on top of that, you get a +1 to your wounds, a +1 to your toughness, and a +1 to your strength. That is awesome. I'm just imagining giving this to the Lord Discordant, and he's just mutating into a hulking form. It's just really awesome. Not just that, but it makes you a freaking better beat stick. +1 strength, toughness, and wounds. That is amazing. And not just that, but having the demon keyword can be a blessing, but also a curse. Especially if you're fighting the Grey Knights. Then yeah, it's going to be a huge detriment. But having that keyword allows synergies between stratagems, auras, and other things like that to create some pretty interesting combinations. And finally, we come to the last relic that I want to talk about, and that is the Axe of the Forge Master. So whoever you give it to, they have to have a power axe or a demon axe, and you're going to be replacing it with one that hates vehicles. So on the plus side, you get a +3 to your strength, your damage becomes 2, and your AP is -3. However, when you fight against vehicles, any hit roll of a 5-up is going to inflict additional damage. D3 mortal wounds to be exact, on top of whatever you're already going to dish out. So again, if you have an axe on your Demon Prince, or you're bringing a Chaos Lord with a power axe, maybe even you have a Sorcerer with a power axe, you could give him this, and now any vehicle is going to have to think twice before charging you because of those mortal wounds that you're pretty likely to get, especially, like I said, if you're fighting the Imperium. Chaos really benefits from hitting 6s in combat because you're just going to be doing that many more attacks. This would be hilarious if it paired up with World Eaters, because just the amount of attacks that like Khorne Berserkers get would be insane. I could see why it doesn't. It would just be hilarious to see. So yeah, that's all I got for today. I love playing Iron Warriors. At first, I never liked the lore of Iron Warriors, because they seem to be the counterpart of the Imperial Fists, or they are. They got that rivalry, the Iron Cage and whatnot. And I always thought of the Imperial Fist as kind of bland. So because of that, I kind of put that blandness onto the Iron Warriors. But after playing Iron Warriors, for the better part of 8th edition, and re-looking at their lore, they're really growing on me. I really like playing Chaos with a vehicle-heavy list, bringing in Mauler Fiends, Defilers, Lord Discordants, and having those core units be supplemented by demons and demon princes. That's the type of army that I think looks cool and plays cool. And now with 9th edition really boosting vehicles, demon engines for that matter, they're going to be that much more powerful in the game, and I'm loving it. Another, just to say it out there, another really cool thing to do is bring probably multiples, because it's probably going to get shot at, multiples of the Chaos Decimator, and outfit his weapons with the petards, because even though that's a funny name, you can do serious damage with it. So let me pull up the stat line real quick. Yeah, so here it is. The Chaos Decimator with Soul Burner petards. Okay, so the way this gun works is an Assault 2d3. Now each successful hit made with this weapon already just inflicts a mortal wound instead of dealing normal damage. You don't have to roll to wound, you don't gotta roll to, anything. It's just, as long as you hit, that's just mortal wounds being dealt. Now you can get 2 of these, so you're doing 4d3 wounds on hits. His weapon skills are 3-up, so it's not that bad, but pair this up with the Stratagem Demon Forged, and now you're re-rolling wounds on 3s. You're pretty much guaranteed to hit all the time. So that's up to 12 mortal wounds per decimator on whatever you're hitting. The range of the gun isn't all crazy, it's 24 inches, but still, for only 220 points, you could be potentially dishing out 12 mortal wounds per model. That's why I'm saying you want to bring multiples, because it is going to go down quickly, especially when your opponent doesn't really see that as a threat, especially if you have a freaking Demon Prince and a Lord Discordant followed by 2 Mauler Fiends rushing at your opponent's lines, and he sees just 3 of these decimators hanging back. That's not going to be what he's thinking about. He's going to be thinking about what's coming at him, and then you hit him with potentially 36 mortal wounds. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. But hey, Chaos Decimators, they're vehicles. So you get into close combat, they can fire these Soul Burner petards in close combat, and that's gonna be a bunch of mortal wounds. So just a little bit of insight. Do not forget about the Decimator. And yeah, now for real, that's all I got for today. Let me know if you think there's another Chaos Legion that will be better in 9th edition. Of course, World Eaters are always going to be good, viable. Corn Berserkers being troops is really good, especially since you could bring a patrol with like a Chaos Demon Prince, 2 units of Corn Berserkers inside Rhinos, and then supplement that with a battalion or brigade of Iron Warriors with like Lord Discordants, Forge Fiends, Mauler Fiends, Chaos Decimators, and for your troops, just bring freaking cultists. There's no need to bring Chaos Space Marines. And that should be a pretty fearsome list. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comments. Now, of course, this is the old 8th edition codex and rules being brought into the 9th edition rule set. So we don't know if any of these things are going to change yet when the new Chaos 9th edition codex comes out, which I'm sure a few things will change here and there. But for now, this seems to be a very strong Legion, and I can't wait to use it even more now. So yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. I think I've said that 3 times, and with that, this is the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.